Today is such a fun day, and I hope that you go away with lots of fun ideas. So I am introducing you to our speaker for this hour, and this is Ariel Loveland. She is a happy homeschool mother of 3 children, ages 3, 5, and 7, and teaching is one of her passions. She has a bachelor's degree in music education and taught 5th through 12th grade music in the public school system before becoming a mother. She's maintained a private violin studio for 15 years and has left every student who has crossed the threshold of her classroom. Her educational background has given her a unique perspective on homeschooling. She began homeschooling in 2014 when her oldest turned 3 years old and loves creating an environment where learning is fun. She's organized co-ops and truly gives her whole heart to the Loveland School Days while maintaining a professional music career. So let's welcome Ariel. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm so glad you're here today, and I'm glad I am too. And I love learning every day. So I'm here to learn from you as well. Anytime you have a comment or a question, feel free to make this a space of where you can contribute to. Because I've only been at this 3 years. So I'm kind of a beginner. But I taught a long time before that. So I'm grateful for that. That helped me. I do have 2 more sheets of notes if you need. But and if you don't get notes and you want them, I can email them to you. Okay, so up on my fantastically fun table, I have basically some of my favorite things about our homeschool. And I want you to take away from this your ideal day. So if you have something to write with and you're taking notes, scribble on the back of this paper what comes to your creative mind that would be best for your children while we're going through this class. So, I'll just begin. My way is not the highway. It's just what is going really well for us. First of all, do you love my apron?
Yes.
So cute. Amazing fact. Oh, do you need notes? Yeah. Here you go.
There's one more.
Yeah. One more? Okay, that's all I got. But I can email people. So, my children listen better when I'm in teacher mode. It really is like putting on a different hat for me, almost like a new character. So when I walk into our schoolroom, we have a separate space than like our kitchen table. I know the kitchen table works for a lot of people. I needed our own space where it could be just our learning space. And I put on this silly apron and my children know it's time to learn. In it, they can pick once a day, someone gets to choose an activity we do. Okay, so it's like a story or a surprise or nursery rhymes. And even my 7-year-old gets excited about his turn with the apron. I know it won't last forever, so I'm enjoying it. Rhythm fun, action song or poem. And notice none of them are like treats like sugar. Sugar's wonderful. But we don't need to add that in right in the morning, right? Their minds are excited and ready to learn. Another thing I added in is charades because we got this for Christmas, and it has been a really funny addition. Your children love to see you silly. They love to play. And when I act out something, they laugh their heads off. I don't know, maybe I'm really entertaining to watch. But I've loved interacting with them through just this simple thing. So when you walk into our classroom, I want this experience to be like I took all of you with me and you came into my homeschool for a day, okay? So this has been definitely worn over yoga pants, and that's fine. It's wonderful. I can wear whatever I want to my job. I treat homeschool like my day job, because I know that I would be successful in another job, and I know that I can be successful at this one. And it's also not about me. I give all of my heart to my students, and did before and do now. Well, it's amazing that my students are people I've birthed. That's just really special. It's just really cool. So, if you walked into my homeschool classroom, you would see a bright space. Hi, welcome. I don't have any more notes for you, but I love you. That's my some family members. I love all of you too. Thanks for being here. So you would see children's artwork on the walls, and I found a marquee where I can change the lettering and have a different message like each month. And I put up holiday decorations, so we just took down Valentine's Day. But on this poster, you can see when my children do artwork, it goes on the wall, and they feel really cool. You can frame it if you want, you can just tape it up, but acknowledge their efforts, even the 3-year-olds. You would see me in a fun school apron, and I don't like to yell in my house. I'm not perfect, okay? I'm a human being, but I've found that a bell works better. Maybe it's because we heard bells in school, I don't know, but I have this cute little apple, and when my children hear it, it's a pretty good sound, right? They come running. They're like excited to learn, and I know it may sound like I'm making it up, but it's true. I have a whole closet full of activities for my children to do, such as puzzles, crafts, and I store them all in open bins, so they're easily accessible, but they're not like they all have a place, so it's not just one mess. And then a whiteboard is so helpful to me. I would recommend getting one of those. So here you can see, these are my youngest two children. They've grabbed puzzles out of the closet and are working. They don't even know that I took this picture, snuck it. And right here, they're standing in front of our whiteboard. I love our whiteboard. I put it at the height so that even my youngest can work. Sometimes I section it off, and then I can have the top. It's okay. So we'll continue going through. I want my classroom to be comfortable. So I got 2 cozy armchairs for free that were used that someone was going to take to the dump. And they are really happy. Okay, so we created a little reading nook in the classroom. My younger children, I went and got a bath rug from Target and made it into their special rug. And so my children sit in their own special spots on their rug. One's a dinosaur and one's a flower. And then my oldest son has kind of grown out of that this year. He's cool now, guys. And so we needed not just rug time. He needs now his desk space. So I got some desks from schools that they didn't want anymore, that they were going to throw away. And they're very cute, actually. And so I have these desks in my classroom, and my oldest son has his space, right? He's too grown up for a rug time anymore. So we have a desk, and I actually have 3 desks. I know I should have put a picture on here of them, but I didn't. They're very cute. Okay, so giving a child their own space, it helps with the rules I'm going to talk about. In my classroom, I have 2 rules. I know this may sound so funny because you're like, it's our house. Yeah, but I like my home to be a place where we can create, and I feel like it's sometimes hard to create if there isn't any structure. We need first like some guidelines, and then we can be as free as we want. So our 2 rules are follow directions quickly. So I'm not going to have to say things repeatedly. I'm just going to have to say, okay, take out your pencils. Okay? And then our other rule is hands and eyes. So when I am talking to my sweet children, then I expect them to respect me, just like you are right now, and I really appreciate that. And when they speak, I show them the same courtesy. So when they have things to say, I'll look in their eyes and I will listen. And I won't be doing things on the marker board, but I will treat them like every human being wants to be treated and acknowledged. So that's why I only need 2 rules. That's all I need. Then we can learn. Okay, so this is how I keep track of my children's work. My children each have a binder for the year, and these are past binders, but this year I let my children design their covers. You should see them, they're very cute. And I just keep all of their work in here. So this is from my daughter's year in preschool. It's so cute to go back and see, like, my 3-year-old binder, and it's just scribbles, it's adorable. And then I have it all in one place, and I don't have random papers messing up my house. That doesn't bring anyone joy. Does not spark joy. Okay. How I organize my pictures of my children, you're welcome to look at anything on this table. It's just the pictures on my phone. I make them a yearbook, guys. Cute, huh? Because we had those. Maybe, I don't know if you did, I did. But in their yearbooks, I just send all the photos to Snapchat and print them off. And my children love looking at themselves. Kind of narcissistic. And they just love looking at their little yearbooks. And they think they're really cool. So that's a way I don't have to have a lot of paper clutter. I don't have to have a lot of clutter around. I just have these. Once a year, we have a photo book and a workbook that they've put together, right? Okay, so far, any questions? I've been like vomiting on you. You have any questions so far? Okay. All right. So that's our homeschool classroom that I felt like I needed to design kind of for my sanity. So I stayed a really happy, nice human. So moving on, I put our schedule here in print for you. It does not matter what religion you are, what your beliefs are. You do not have to follow anything that I wrote down, but I do want you to think about what values you want to teach your children. Because giving them like one speech one day is not going to affect their lives as much as the little daily practices that they watch. So, as parents and teachers, we need to know ourselves. And we need to have been able, I'm sure you all have, been able to evaluate, like, what is my core belief? What is important to me that I want to pass on? And then, model your day after that. After your core beliefs, okay? So don't model your beliefs after someone else's. That's not going to work for you. It's not going to feel right, and your children won't believe it. So model your homeschool day after what rings true to you. For me, I love music. It's my most favorite thing in the universe, actually. So we start every single day with this song because I love singing. I love music. We have a song once a month that we memorize together, and it can be any song I pick. It's really fun. And so think about that and how 4 years that I've been doing this, we have learned a lot of songs. And some of them are my favorite. Some of them I don't know and we have to learn together. But my children are hearing those songs every morning, and children are amazing at memorizing music. And so they don't even know all the things they've memorized in music. While we're on that subject, I love this book by Matthew C. It's a math song book. Where was this my whole life? Okay, so it has like memorizing, there's skip counting, adding, multiplication, science, literature, all through songs. There's so many cool resources. So it wasn't even very expensive, guys. But the Matthew C. Songbook, if you want to teach your young children to skip count and add through song, they will remember that a lot longer. I remember songs I learned in my childhood. They'll remember it forever. Okay, next we pray, because I pray. Next we do the Pledge of Allegiance, because I love America. So I've structured off my beliefs my homeschool day. And we have a flag in the corner of our classroom. And next we do the Today banner, and my children always fight over, no, not fight, clamor, I don't know. They're always like, I don't want to do it. So they love our little Today banner. I got this at Target. You can home make one. But we just say, like, what is the weather outside? And by the way, that's a really fun activity. You can have your young children be weather forecasters for 2 weeks and hang up a big paper on your wall by, like, your front window, and every morning have them forecast the weather. They'll feel really cool, and you'll get to watch the patterns over time, and then you can study things like the north and south hemisphere for your older children, and they'll be using big words, and that'll be cool. And then we do the month, the day. How are you feeling? It's really funny. Like when they do the how are you feeling, we've had all the feels. And then I get to know. I'm like, all right, Lucy is mad today. That's okay. Usually by the end of the school day, we're all feeling okay. But sometimes you do just wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and it's really nice to have your teacher know that, or mom, so we can know, she needs a little space today. She needs some patience. I will be really kind. And then the season. Now I was gonna write these down for you. Oh well, here we go. We're all friends now. We do a day song and month song. I like to teach my children through song. So here we go. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. My little 3-year-old knows his days, but not because he even knows what those words mean. That'll come in time, right? But because we sing that song and we talk about what day it is. All right, next, you ready for this? Oh, this is a little embarrassing. Okay, I'm brave. So we do the month. So January, February, March, and April, May, and June, and July, August, September, October, November, December. These are the months of the year. Oh, these are the months of the year. Fill them with joy and with cheer, the months of the year. Oh. That's embarrassing. There you go. We do that every day so the children know their months. Yeah.
So where do you find your songs? Where do you find it?
Okay. That's a good question. One of them I literally heard as a girl the day of the week. So that was just in my brain. This amazing brain. And then the month, I love children music CDs, so I have become an avid collector of them. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm older with them, but so we just play music in the car all the time, and that is one that I found and just decided we were going to memorize. So I don't have any music for it. I don't. No, but do you know?
Check iTunes and Amazon Music and
yeah.
all those places.
Or
YouTube.
I could be on YouTube now, thanks to Katie. Now we okay. So
whatever Janet does with it.
Yeah. If I don't mind singing those on the Trek website if you really want them.
I really like the month of the year one too.
Okay.
Talk about filling it with cheer.
Joy and cheer? I know, because sometimes the teacher needs joy and cheer too.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a good reminder. Every month can have joy and cheer. Okay, well, will you text me that I need to do that, Melanie?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you. I'm like, I won't remember. But, okay, I'll put it on the Tech Truck website. Will that be okay? Or Facebook page. Will that work?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you got it. All right, next. Ooh, this is really cool. All right, so another thing that's important to me is exercise. Not because I'm a superhero, but because part of my life journey, I had a stroke after my third baby was born. So that's I'm not going to have any more children, but I'm super grateful for the ones I have. And I learned how important taking care of your body is. So it's really part of my core belief now, right? And went through a year of physical therapy. Look at my smile. Okay, so my children do exercises every morning with me, and I'm not amazing at it, but I think it's important. So at this point in our school day, we do exercises, and I have this super cool book. It's called Ready, Set, Focus, and it's actually exercises for children's brains, written by a doctor, Dr. Monica Berger, who I love and think is fantastic, and actually went to a workshop of hers. So, I'm going to have you guys do some. You ready? Okay, everyone stand up. Welcome to my homeschool class. So, we're going to, I'll just do ones you can do in your little space. First, raise your arms above your head and cross to the opposite knee and march. Oh, and this is fun. Okay. Good. Gently march, that's fine. I've been there. Okay. Now pause for a second. Oh, I turned my phone off. Whoops, it's because I didn't want it to interrupt our day. So I put it with a metronome to teach my children rhythm while they're exercising. But they don't know that's what they're doing. So I was going to trick you and have you not know what you're doing, but Apple, okay, it's thinking. Just 1 second. Sorry. Thanks for your patience with my craziness. Okay. So metronomes come in super handy for exercises with children. You can do so many things to a metronome. So here's our beat. So now let's try that again. And it adds in another dimension. So let's cross and march. Ready? And. Okay, now we're going to do this. We're going to now do, and they're doing this and they just go along with it. And now you say, okay, now we're going to skip count by 2, starting with 0. Ready? And 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, we'll go to 20, 14, 16, 18, 20. So your heart rate's up, you just did math facts, and you're establishing a sense of rhythm. Congratulations! You're genius level. Good job, everyone worked up a sweat. Need some air? Okay, so highly recommend this book. I believe it's $30 online. Again, all the stuff on the table you can come look at. So by this time, sometimes we have to move out of the schoolroom if we do like hopping exercises or something. And then we come back in, and now by this point I feel like my children's brains are awake. They're ready for whatever I throw at them. So I like to choose this time of the day to do our memorizations. And this is what book we're working out of for memorizations right now. I really like the poems in it. And you can use any poem. But children's minds love learning and rhyming. So this one's really cute. When they have mastered a poem, we stay on it as long as they need. And when they have mastered it, they get to sign their name at the bottom because they've mastered that poem. We mostly learn the poems by me saying them, and then we put actions to it, or sometimes I print off pictures to trigger their memory, like, oh, this is the next line. So we learned this one about Columbus this year, and I'll just read it to you. It's cute. Columbus was a dreamer, a boy who watched the sea, and thought as ships sailed out of sight, how round the earth must be. Columbus was a doer, a man who went to sea, and proved the thoughts he had were right. His Dreams Reality by Margaret Hillard. So my children are learning rhyming, they're learning the rhythm of speech, and they learned about Columbus. Well, that was cool too, the content. All right, so I recommend this book, but you don't need a book. You can go online and print off of any poem you want. And I enjoy memorizing them too. So, next, because of my religion, I do something called Come Follow Me after that. So, apply whatever, insert whatever you want there. Okay, this is where it gets tricky. So we always do our gathering time together, but now I have 3 different levels. I have a 3-year-old, a kindergartner, and a 2nd grader. So what do I do now? We've had our gathering time. Now is where the grit of teaching comes in. I feel like the grit of homeschool mom. And the creativity. So I always give my children the option. I say, who wants to go first with one-on-one time today? And dependent on their mood, we go forward. So with my 3-year-old, his one-on-one time is really just knowing he needs to know he's loved. He needs to know that the earth is awesome and cool to explore through books and through puzzles and play. So he's at my learning through play stage. So with Drake, if you came to watch my one-on-one time with Drake, it mostly looks like play or reading books, but working on development, right? And then with my kindergartner, I've written down, with her, I work on reading and writing and math and science. And you can use any curriculum you like for those. But it is important to start introducing those weekly topics. And I can go more into curriculum in a moment, and you can tell me your favorites. And then with James, you'll notice the 2nd grader, he has more to do. Okay, he has a tutoring class online on the computer, and he has writing and math and science, history, and the Lego class through Tech Academy. Hey, Brandy.
Yes?
Hi, Brandy.
Hi.
Oh, you don't have to come up. I just recognized you and got excited. Everyone, maybe we should clap for her because she does a lot of work for us. Oh, yes, thank you sincerely for all you do. I really appreciate you. Yeah, thank you. And then, so that can take, I get often asked, how long do we do homeschool? It's however long it's supposed to be that day. Sometimes we're done before lunch once in a while, and that's just really nice. Other times, we have gone to 4 p.m. because guess what? There was that much to learn, and everyone was nice. So, do you have something to say, Jenny?
So you teach all of your subjects independently. You don't combine science with all of them? Or
We do science together, and history. We do science and history together. I used to teach everything all together, and the levels got too far apart. They needed different things from me. And if my belief is that I want to give one-on-one time to them, then we had to adjust. And actually, it's been way better because I'm not telling this person to wait and shush it, So this is the way that works best for me. But you do what Jenny is best for Jenny. So that's why I have a closet full of manipulatives. Yes, Allison.
So when you're having your each individual one-on-one time, what are the others doing?
Great question. So we have an understanding first. You have to communicate to your children your expectations. So what I expect is that they will either be playing out of the homeschool closet, and I'm still available to answer questions or be their mother, or play in the toy room. We have just different, I would call them centers in my whole basement, that they are welcome to do any of those things. And we really don't have, usually the two are playing together. Maybe I'm just really blessed. but also establishing the expectations of like, this is our learning time creates a nice feeling in the home. And I know that may sound insane, but just wait till I get to parenting and then it won't, I promise I'm not making it up. Does that answer your question? Okay, thank you. So then, when we're all done with our one-on-one time, we do a closing prayer just because that's me. And again, like, because we're parents, it's a real blessing because you can fill it out. Like, some days, maybe your kindergartner just needs 10 minutes, and that's about all that they did that day. And you're like, it's okay, tomorrow will be better. Another thing is, try not to have the list of to-dos be more important than the person that you're teaching. So, this week, true story, my 7-year-old said, Mom, I just don't want to do math today. And he said, James, I want you to think, by the way, this was a stroke of inspiration, I'm not always this awesome, but it was, I said, James, what do you know more about than me? And he like, thought for a second, he's like, I know more about camping and fishing than you. And I said, you're right, I think that's gross. And I said, will you please teach me about it? Because I truly don't know that much about gutting a fish. Will you teach me about gutting a fish? He loves it. And he's like, yeah. So we sat and talked about gutting a fish for a long time. Like, he had a lot to say about it, and I listened to all of it. And then when he was done, I said, okay, I know more about math than you, and I'm so excited to tell you when I know about it. And he was like, cool. It works so well. That night at dinner, you know you're doing something right when my husband said, what's the best part of your day? And James said, when I got to teach Mom about fishing. And he didn't even remember that he didn't want to do math, but he did it. And then my daughter Lucy, my husband said, what was the best part of your day? And she said, homeschool. And I'm like, yeah. Okay, so it is possible to have a good environment in your home. And it just takes some genius and planning ahead, but really, it's possible. Okay, so after this, the moms in us, like, want to do the dishes, want to do all this. No. Those are important too. You'll get to it. We know you will. You gotta go outside. Even if it's like 0 degrees. My children and I call it, I don't know how we made this up. It's kind of weird. But there's like 2 feet of snow where I live right now. So we call it tromping. Because it makes like the tromp sound when you march through the snow and it's like up to their little knees. So after we're done with homeschool, I have been set out by the door. So they just go up and put on all their clothes and we march outside. And it feels so good to change. Like, you've been in this cozy basement learning, but you need to go get some vitamin D and listen hopefully for maybe a bird that didn't migrate. I don't know. But it's really, really nice. And as spring comes, we have a saying called like signs of spring or signs of winter or signs of fall. So we're always looking for signs, like what's the signs of the season, okay? So we love our outdoor time, even 10 minutes. If it's really cold, go out for 10 minutes. Mom needs it too. And then come back inside. But they usually don't want to. I usually have to tell them because their noses are turning cold that it's time to come inside. And then as a family, we do chores. So I don't take on like everything myself. We do it together. So that can look like whatever it looks like for you, but it needs to be done, right? There's the 3 stinkies. You have to do the laundry and dump the garbages and do the dishes, or else it's stinky. You have to do it. So we do it together. And then we have free time and activities. The children have lots of friends they play with. I'm going to get into that in a minute. And then for me, it's okay if you don't do this. But for me, in my home, Friday and Saturdays are great days for shows and for all the Netflix, which we definitely have. But we only do educational things on screens from Monday through Thursday. Actually, Sunday through Thursday. And that makes for me, my home a happy place. Sometimes if my children have too much sugar or too many screens, they get kind of cranky and aren't themselves. So that's why I monitor it, not because I'm a mean boss lady, but they actually rarely ask because it's just the expectation is set, and they know the days of the week, right? Because of the song I sung you. So on Friday and Saturday, they're super pumped to watch their favorite shows. And the rest of the week, they're actually pretty fine. They don't need it. So, any questions? Yeah.
So you don't do homeschool on Fridays?
Fridays I do a little bit. We do our gathering time, and that's my catch day. It's what did we not get to? But I also maintain a private violin studio of 16 students. And so I teach on Friday afternoons and Saturday mornings. So it's really helpful. My children are always very well behaved during lessons because they haven't watched TV all week. Not that they do that the whole time, but they're awesome. And I've had parents ask how come your children are so quiet? I'm they're deprived. But because they're just trained this is the day we're allowed, right? Okay. So meals prepared and cleaned up together. This was really huge for me because as a homeschool mother, I've worked all day, and not any mom, working mom, whatever mom has worked all day. And then we sit down to eat, and then if everyone just gets up and leaves the table, I don't know, it feels lonely and deserted and not cared about. So I'm okay, everyone, we will clean up as a family. It just makes everything better to clear the table off together. Okay, we good? Any questions? So we're going, well, you're welcome to come up here if you need a chair. Hi. Next, classroom management. So I took a whole course on classroom management in college before I taught public school. And then I got in homeschool, and I was does that even apply here? What is that? And I realized it does. And it is parenting. It's just a different word. So, in homeschool, classroom management equals parenting. You may be thinking that you're having a really hard time homeschooling or a really bad homeschool day. You actually might just be having a stinky parenting day. Okay? So maybe you need to assess we need to assess ourselves. Excuse me, let me fix my language because I have this. We need to fix ourselves as parents. Okay? And also allow the children, if it's their angry day, that's why we assess their feelings in the morning. Allow that, not all days are going to be the best day of your life, okay? But they can be pretty dang good. I actually got these parenting tips from my grandpa. He put them in this book, and you can get it on Amazon. And it's the 10 Skills of Parenting by Ronald J. Dent. And he lives here in Boise, and he's a very sweet man. And he gave me this book, and it really shaped me as a parent. And so the 10 skills of parenting are believing you can control your emotions, establishing order and responsibility. Establishing order and responsibility takes work on your part. And once it's there, the expectations are set and things can go smoothly. Another thing on establishing order and responsibility, if it's not, assess to yourself how important it is to you. And if you have the energy that day to make it really important to you or not. Does that make sense? I don't know if that made sense to you.
What if you don't have that energy? Do you just ignore it, or do you do something different?
So if you feel like that day you don't have the emotional energy to create the order that you want.
Right. Because I've had those really defeating days with my children, and I just want to hide.
Yeah. I hear you, girlfriend. You're not alone. Okay, so on those days, guess what I would recommend? I would recommend going to your pantry and eating chocolate. It's fine. Okay, really, like, have some grace, like, for yourself, okay? We're all human beings, and on those discouraging days, like, let them be and let yourself be.
Okay.
And even if it's for, like, an hour, and you just love that Dove chocolate, and then you get back to life, and you come back, and you can say, the wonderful thing is, if I didn't act out, if I was in control of my emotions and just thought, it doesn't have to include chocolate, but it's nice if it does, and just thought, I'm going to take a step back. Like, if I didn't freak out, I don't have to go out and apologize. It's great to know how to say sorry. But if I, like, maintain my cool, I can just be like, and just gather ourselves, and then we can come back. We all need space and breathing time. Allow yourself grace. It's not important that you go to the library that day. It's, you know, whatever you had that was, now if it is important that you have like a scheduled thing, then let other things go, right? Maintain, don't set your level of expectations for perfection, because none of us are, right? Okay, so next 3, why do they act like this? Determining motives. So children will act out to get attention, or they'll act out to get power, or they'll act out because they're actually mad at you about something, and they don't know how to tell you in words, okay? So if you determine their motive, then it doesn't hurt us. We can just be like, oh, they just really want some attention, and just get down on their level and give them a hug. And it will all be okay. Encouragement, the cure-all. So this is, instead of saying like, you're the best second grader in the world, saying, I can tell you're working really hard today. Thank you. Owning behavior, feelings, and problems. So sometimes we try to make our children's behavior about us, but sometimes it's really just theirs. Like, they're their own person too, and they need the natural consequences of that to happen for their behavior or feelings or problems. Trust them. Trust your kids. They're quite amazing. Listening. So listening, when you're listening to someone, you're all doing a great job. Gold stars. If you were listening to an adult, you would look in their eyes and you would kind of lean in when they were talking. You definitely would not be filling the dishwasher. So sometimes our children aren't listened to, and then they throw fits. All right? But we have this wonderful time. In homeschool, we have a little more time with them, and it's sweet. And don't fill it with other stuff. Fill it with listening. Truly listening and knowing your child. Development of honesty. Sometimes children lie because they want attention. Sometimes they lie because they have a wonderful imagination, and their imagination is better than what's really the story. That happens with my oldest son, and it's really cute. I'll be like, really? And he goes, well, he fixes the story, okay? Don't catch them in a lie, so don't, if they have like cookie crumbs all over their face, don't say, did you eat cookies? Of course you know they ate cookies. Like, duh, don't try, they're gonna learn to be afraid of you and to tell lies when they're afraid. So instead, just say, oh, you ate your dessert before dinner. You won't have any after. Okay, so that was different. They knew, we know a lot, don't we? We know a lot as parents. Okay, cooperation. We want to be on the same team as them. So sometimes it's seen as like parent and child this, but we actually want to be like parent and child actual problem, that we face it together, okay? Now, I know there are like a ton of people in this room who have way more parenting experience than me, so like, just tell me to stop. Or like raise your hand and tell me what actually works for you, because this is what works for me now, but I've only been a parent 7 years, so I have a lot to learn. Improving self-concept, so that's helping your children really to see themselves as valuable. And I hope everyone, I think it starts with you. Like, I hope everyone in this room knows you're valuable. And if you really believe that, I can tell you and look in your eyes and know that you're valuable. And then you can, in turn, do that for your children. We're all different, and it's great. And we're all of value. I actually learned that really, truly in my soul when I had the stroke, because I couldn't do anything. I was like literally worthless on the outside. Okay, I had to have people help me. A lot of people in this room, oh my gosh, helped me a ton. I couldn't clean my house very good. I couldn't make meals very good. Like, I planned the times to go up and down the stairs because it was so exhausting to me physically that I could only do that once a day. And there were times that I thought in my mind, if you've ever had tremendous health problems, you know, like, it's a mental battle too, it's not just physical. And I thought to myself, I'm like, wow, like, I am not contributing to the world at all. Like, really? Am I of value? Am I? And the answer, my friends, is yes. Even that day, if you did, on the outside, nothing that contributed to the world, you are of value. When you know that in your soul, you can really instill it in your children. They already want to believe it. But as you encourage that, it's really sweet to see them blossom into that. I'm really grateful. I never want to do that again. But I'm grateful I learned that. So there were some good things. Also, meeting your own emotional needs. I want everyone to clap for yourselves right now. Congratulations, you're meeting an emotional need. Yay! You're with your other grown-ups. Okay, you're doing great. This is an emotional need day. Check. All right, so make sure you're taking care of you too. Next, any questions? I'm sick of my own voice now. I never hear it this much. Okay. Yeah.
This is not related to anything that's on here. Do you do field trips, and how many a year approximately, generally?
Oh, I love your question. What's your name?
Candy.
I'm Ariel. Candy. Cute name. Yes, we do field trips every single week. It's so fun. So, when I started homeschooling, by the way, so I'm a public school educator. Don't hate me. Okay?
I do not hate you.
Oh, thank you. And I love teaching in the public schools. I loved it with my whole heart. I loved every single student I had. Really, I have some hilarious and terrifying stories, but I loved every second of those years. And it was a ton of work. So if you see an educator today, oh yeah, hug them. You're all educators. Okay, so then I had my second child and felt it was time to transfer my attention to my little ones. And I then felt like I needed to homeschool. It was after I had paid a $90 down payment to the most expensive preschool in town, and I never got it back. But after I paid that $90, I was like, that's not what we're supposed to do. And my husband had the same thought, and he's a really cute guy, that one. Anyway, and so we talked about it, and we decided to try out homeschooling. And I will tell you very candidly that, because you all know I pray, it's okay. I prayed and said, I can't do this on my own. I need people, so please send me them. And it worked. One of them is here. Aubrey and I started a co-op with our friend Kristen, and so we just got together once a week, and the different moms took turns hosting or teaching, and we went on field trips that applied to what we were learning, and also my children got to have holiday parties, which I was so a fan of because I wanted them to get Valentine's. Don't know why that was important to me, but it was. It's like, how can you do childhood without Valentine's? You know? So, right? So, every single week for the last 3 years, we have gone on a field trip. My children have seen so many cool things. They know, like we've been to hospitals, we've been to grocery stores. They love their time with their friends, and those friends have become so important. In fact, Aubrey did move away, but our sons think that they're cousins because they're such good friends, right? So now my children have these amazing buddies that they get to see every week that care about them. So if you don't have a co-op that you are a part of, make one, okay? It's like about talking to people, and really it can be simple and bring a lot of joy. So now I have myself and 3 other moms that we get together once a week, and we just did our Valentine's party, and it was really, really fun. But we have seen some amazingly cool things. We did a unit on fish, and we went to the fish hatchery and the aquarium, and now my children can tell you all the difference between saltwater and freshwater fish. And Tech Trip has really cool field trips as well. We just went to the art museum through their field trips last week, and my children had so much fun. And my 2nd grader was getting in the car, and he said, "That was a lot more fun than I thought it would be." So they like to go out. They like the social interaction. I think it's actually really, really important. So make a co-op or join one today. Really good. Now, this next section is like kind of near and dear to my heart, and everyone has different beliefs on it. So it's okay if you don't agree with me. That's fine. I like you just the way you are. So, dyslexia journey. Whew. So in college, I took a special education course, right? 1 semester, and learn like 1 semester to learn like a lot, right? That's like such a huge field of study. And then had some unique, wonderful experiences in the public school. I will tell you that when I got my class list of students for that new semester, that if they were in caps in one name, I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you this, but well, they can't fire me. So caps in one name, it meant a certain like level of like an IEP, individualized education plan, and caps in both the first and last name meant another thing. And I had this really stinky experience where I was a brand new teacher, and this other teacher came in and thought that she would show me the ropes and said, these are going to be your hard kids, pointing to those names. And I did not like that, because they're people. That's wrong to me. That like did not ring true to me. And so I decided I was going to love every single student who crossed the threshold of my classroom. And I was going to put away that list, and I was going to write my own, where everyone just got to be themselves. And so with that is not me bashing public schools. That's just one person's opinion, okay? There are a lot of wonderful humans in the world. And I think that when you look at a person, that a label does not define them. That's just one aspect of how they learn, and it actually is oftentimes a gift. So going into this, there's the background story. My son got in kindergarten, and I started recognizing some of the early signs of dyslexia that I had learned about in my special education class. And so I took him in to a doctor because I wanted to make sure that I was correct in my assessment. And I was. That's another thing. You don't have to do everything on your own, homeschool parents. There are a lot of professionals in the universe that have studied things, and it's wonderful. So go get a second opinion, right? That's really, really helpful. We don't have to know everything. So we were doing really, really good, and I was working with him on my own for the first 2 years. And then this happens with dyslexics. They kind of hit a wall because they're actually incredibly intelligent. And so they know how to make you think that they're like reading. It's amazing. They're very creative and intelligent. So they will like kind of manipulate the system almost. but they can't do that. They can do that when they're learning to read, but they can't do it when they're reading to learn. Because their comprehension, they have to read through like 2 times to understand what they're reading. So I went on this really cool journey, and I'm grateful for Tech Truck that is supporting me in it. But we needed more help than I could do just with myself, and some really cool programs. Side note, I love handwriting without tears. It really is what it says it is. Okay? Cool. No tears. Highly recommend this for writing. So I was doing all I could, but I needed more help. That's another thing too. You don't have to be a superhero. Other people are great. So I did research, and I found the #1 dyslexia center for research internationally, and it's Susan Barton is the best system out there. And I watched everything I could watch. Cool. On the Barton tutoring method. Found a tutor, and guess what? We just this week were driving through our city, and my son, who remember has been diagnosed with dyslexia, read a sign that said Archimedes. Isn't that cool? And he's 7. And think about, like, he's in a moving vehicle, a sign goes past, and I just was like, oh, life is so good. So, look at if you think your child may have a reading disability of any kind, look through these signs and symptoms that I've posted as the second page of notes. And guess what? It doesn't have to be their life story. Just like a stroke didn't have to be mine, that was just like part of my life journey. It's not who I am. It was just for a minute. And this is just part of my son's life journey. It's not who he is. And by 5th grade, he will be completely competent in all reading and writing. He actually has to decode the English language because they don't remember sight words like we memorize words. They remember rules. So he remembers the rule that TH makes, but he is never going to recognize the. Does that make sense? He just remembers all the rules. It's fascinating and awesome. So, I think that's one of the reasons that I felt like I needed to homeschool, because he's getting the education that is best for him, right? And no one is putting a label on him. He actually doesn't even know he has dyslexia. Only you do. So, I just want you to know, this is, in my research, the first kindergarten that was made was actually called a children's garden. That's where the word kindergarten comes from, is children's garden. And you really can create the best soil for your children. It just takes work, okay? And and thought and perseverance, but you can create the best soil so that they can grow up to be who they need to be, and a powerful force for good in this world. And thank you for your time.